What is going on, guys? Zuko back with another Dragonflight video. Hope you're all doing very well. We're on the Enhancement Shaman, and I'm going to talk about a plus 20 Freehold that we just did. We didn't quite time it, so I'll just get that out of the way right away. But we're very, very close. Had some very sort of obvious mistakes that we can fix for next time. And, yeah, I'm going to walk you through how much the Storm build is absolutely pumping these days. We'll go over the talents in a second, and I'll go over my gear right now. And I'm going to make sure I cover all those little bases for you guys. So, we'll get into the footage in just a second. So, my gear is pretty good. I'm 440, obviously. We're pretty high item level. I do have some pieces that can still be upgraded. We got a champion gear here, so I can get a better waist. There is a ring here that's champion level, so that could get upgraded as well. And my Ominous Chromatic is only a champion level as well. Hopefully I can get the hero version of that soon. I got a different, I did get my 5-piece, so I only had 4-piece before this. I have 5 pieces of tier now, which will free up, I think, my gloves to become a crafted piece, or something else. Probably my boots, actually, but we're going to have to see. I like the stats on this better anyway. Crit verse was good. Getting a little bit more verse for higher keys is good. And my haste was high enough anyway. So I was at like 34, 35% haste, and now I'm at 31, which is good enough for me. The Ominous is really helping out with my crit as well, and I'm investing really heavily into crit now. If you guys don't know, you can go and attune yourself, obviously, to one of the, there's statues that are kind of all over the Dragon Isles, and you can give yourself a high secondary stat. So I have an extra 545 crit there. My crit's sitting at 35% now. So we're really highly invested into crit. The last thing that I most recently got was this spear fragment. So this throws out a projectile that does damage in an area, and then it gives you crit based on each enemy that was hit up to 5. So I can get an additional 656 times 5. That's about 3,500, right? Yeah, it's almost, it's like 3,300 crit I could get out of this. So that when that goes off, that takes my crit from 35% to like almost 50%. So it's really, really good. And it, again, gives me more investment into the crit for my build, which is what we're doing. We're doing the Storm build. This is what the talent tree looks like. We have Alpha Wolf. We have Static Accumulation with Thorums. We have Doom Winds. I do end up taking Swirling Maelstrom with Ice Strike. I like it a lot better than taking Lava Lash plus Molten Assault. I know that some people do that style. I just like having the guaranteed Maelstrom weapon stack generation from Ice Strike, particularly this week in keys, because it's tyrannical, and you struggle to generate Maelstrom weapon stacks on tyrannical on single targets. On AoE, you're generating tons of Maelstrom weapon stacks, not an issue, but on tyrannical, it's kind of hard. So I prefer this style of build, and yeah, this is what the build looks like. We will jump into the dungeon now. I'm gonna check out the footage. I don't think I have anything else I wanted to tell you, but let's show you the opening here. This is really awesome. This is where we absolutely clap. Again, it's not fortified, so we can kind of go crazy in this opening pack, and you'll see how good it gets. So I throw out my shard. You can see I have 5 stacks of the crit buff. So right now I have about 50% crit. We go Doom Winds, Chain Lightning, and we're getting up to over 400k. We almost get to 500k there. I hit 490k twice in a row, actually. So really, really good stuff. This is kind of what your opening burst can look like if you have a build set up similar to mine. Lots of crit, lots of haste, and we're just blasting. With the Storm build, of course, you're just doing, you know, Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning, Storm Strike. Back to back, you're trying to fish for the DRE proc. We did not get a deeply rooted proc until the very, very end of this pull, unfortunately. But that's okay. It was still lots of damage, and we had a huge burst at the opening there. I think we get the proc right about here, yeah. And then I stand in this guy's brutal backhand. Luckily, I have really high item level, so I end up living. Unfortified, I would have died, though. So make sure you're careful there with your positioning. But that was good. Opening burst was really good. We end up cleaning up next couple of packs. Remember, with the Storm build, what I love about it so much is that you always have relevant damage. Even if you're not getting procs on DRE, your damage is just really strong. It's always really, really strong on all of these packs. You know, you're always going to be between like 120, 115 to 140k on every AoE pack, basically, depending how big the pack is. And then when you have your cooldowns ready to go, your damage spikes to like 400k. So I really enjoy that a lot. Now, here's the bird boss. This is the really tough part about these weeks. on a +20 is that the boss fights are just incredibly hard. They hit really, really hard. So we get our Sundering window going and start getting some damage. Get up to almost 100k here. When he's running around like this, we end up doing a little less. There's my shard. I throw my shard out so I get extra crit right now. Very good. We get Doom Winds going. Got to watch this charge. This fight gets really hard, of course, once he drops down and the bird starts jumping. And I say to Joe, can you move to your right a little bit here? We want everybody to spread out on this fight, right? So that when he does his big blaster gun, which he's about to do right now, he only hits one of us. The priest is here. I'm here. Joe is over here on the DK. Then the other two guys are over here spread.
Watch the bird.
There comes. So this only hit one person. The Azurite powder only hit one person. That's exactly what you want. If it hits more than one person, it's an enormous stress on the healer. It's really not a good thing. So you want to be really careful about that. See, there we go. Once again, only hits one person. We get kick revitalizing brew. We're a little slow on the kick there. That's mostly my job, actually. Now the bird is running right through middle. You have to be really very, very, very careful. I end up getting hit by the bird here in a minute because I'm not paying attention. So the bird right now, I believe, is on a track to hit me, and I'm not watching it.
Careful, bird's right
Yeah,
there.
Joe said at the last second. I didn't see it. So then I reincarn, and then when the bird is in the air, he will poop on whoever is closest to him. This was a giant mistake that I made, and I didn't realize. I was just angry, and I hit reincarn right away. The bird happens to be closest to me right now, so he ends up pooping on me right as he's flying away. It was so annoying. Really, really annoying. So anyway, that's on me, though. Just know, guys, I'm trying to highlight that for you guys. If you end up dying to the bird charge, just know that he's also going to drop a puddle right afterwards on whoever is closest to him. So you don't want to res right away, otherwise you're going to die like I did. Right, so there we go. So then, Joe, we move across the arena here. My damage is a little bit lower because I ended up dying, but it's still okay. It's not bad. And we end up getting a couple procs at the end, which is really good. And then the stupid bird at the very end of the stupid fight, he charges through the middle. I wasn't even looking. It's so dumb. They need to fix that. Anyway, so basically 2 needless deaths by me there. We lost 10 seconds on the dungeon because of me right there. So just take a mental note there, guys. If you're doing a high key like this, don't make that mistake that I just made. Don't make that mistake, because that will you know, it might be important later. Those 10 seconds might matter later in the fight. So anyway, we're back at it again, doing relevant damage here with our Sundering window plus chain lightning plus our trinket. So this trinket that I have now is a 1.5 minute cooldown, so it's kind of relevant on every other pack. Basically, you're always going to have it up, which is really great. I love that. I love having trinkets that I can cast a lot more often, and our damage is really good. We're kind of waiting on Lust here. We have 6 minutes on Lust. So another tip for you guys, if you Lust the first boss, oops, I opened Steam there. You're also going to want Lust on the second boss, because you just are. So you can end up clearing trash. Go clear a bunch of trash before you start the next boss fight, and you'll have Lust back up in time. So that's a little tip for you guys. Again, our damage here, really, really good. Almost hitting 300k, guys. Really, really good damage. It's just relevant on every pull, and we really love that. 270 to 300k. Without once I get my Sundering window back again, we'll press it here and see how it goes. There's Sundering. There's my chain lightning. Back up to 300k. See, we're back up there again. So you kind of fluctuate between 250, 300k, something around that, if these packs are big like this, which is really great. We're past 300k now, so really good. So then we'll keep going. We're going to clear a bunch of mobs here with this Crusher.
I'm at 447.
And we want to keep clearing. I end up getting autoed by the Crusher there. A little tip for you guys here. Actually, this is important. I die here, and this is actually my fault. This is not Joe's fault. So Joe ends up pulling these mobs. The Crusher ends up walking, and he's the big guy. Okay. I launch a chain lightning right here, and it hits him. Sorry, I'll go back and just show you that really quickly. I launch a chain lightning that ends up hitting the Crusher as he's walking into the pack. And that's not, so Joe doesn't have time to get aggro yet. So my chain lightning goes off right here, and it ends up hitting the Crusher for like 150k. And he's like, nah, enough of that. And he autos me for 500k. So that's on me, and I need to be more careful. When you're approaching a pack and the tank is getting aggro on the mob still, you need to be very, very careful about when you just throw out your chain lightning. You don't want to do it too fast, okay? Here's Eudora. This fight's pretty easy. You just have to follow her around as she does her big buckshot there. So not too bad. And we end up getting 2-target cleave the entire time. 2-target cleave for an enhancement shaman is absolutely golden, because that means your crash lightning gets the extra buff. If you hit 2 or more targets with crash lightning, you end up doing extra damage. So this is perfect for enhancement shaman. Really, really good fight for us. It's all going well until I end up doing I end up standing in her gunshot, the next one, not this one. It's the last one. She jumps here. And I thought that she shot like over here first. I thought she would shoot us like over this direction and then make her waiver, but she ends up shooting me right away, and I jump into it like an idiot. I thought for sure she shot the other way, so again, that's on me. Really dumb. But we end up doing okay damage anyway. Our damage is okay. It's not bad.
There is another one.
But clearly I'm making lots of little mistakes here.
Thing that hit 2 things, I would too.
Oh my god. Oh yeah, what did these guys say here?
Oh, yep.
I'm in the blackout barrel. Nice.
You can just stay in there.
That's great. Thanks. The stereo says I could just stay in the black. So nobody gets me out.
I appreciate you being the only one to shoot the barrel. Thank you, sir.
I got you, Havoc.
It's only because he's hanging
So that was like, hey, boom, thanks for hitting the barrel with the Chaos Bolt. And it turns out he wasn't. He was just Havoc'd onto me.
Oh my god.
So he wasn't even trying to hit me. He was just getting extra damage for Havoc.
Does somebody...
So yeah, that was really cool. We're killing these guys, and then Rich will stealth here.
I'm gonna do this so I get speed burst.
So Rich is stealth right here. He's invisible with his little spider. He goes and starts the RP while we're clearing, and then I make the same mistake I made before, I guess, with the Crusher. I thought I waited for enough time here before I started doing damage, but the Crusher like turns and autos me here in a second. I don't know why. It's really frustrating. So I'm just doing damage. Joe has plenty of time to get aggro. And then I think I end up just getting autoed here by the Crusher in a second. Yeah. Oh, no. This is Rage. There's Rage on me right now. So I stun them. Okay, that's fine. So Rage is gone. Then he's doing his circle. Right after he throws his boulder, by the way, he will start channeling his AoE circle. Let's be really careful about that.
Okay, he's doing circles.
Ground Shatter right there. So it ends up... The cast time on Ground Shatter is kind of like less than it normally would be. And then I think I get autoed here by a Crusher. Maybe not. Maybe it's Blind Rage. No, hold on. It'll show it there. Never mind. I shouldn't have went back. Sorry. So there's Blind Rage on me. Maybe it's just Blind Rage. I need to check. Sorry, guys. I haven't checked this yet. There's Blind Rage. What do I die to here? Yeah, it's the Crusher again. That's the big guy. I don't know why he's autoing me. It feels really bugged or something. Like, he should not be autoing me. Anyway, we end up dying a couple times. So I don't know if it's a bug. I've probably died 3 or 4 times in this dungeon alone. I would say to either a bug from the Crusher. I don't know what's going on. It's very, very annoying. But here comes Shark Guy. This is a very tough fight. There's an argument to be made for having Bloodlust on this fight versus the previous fight. But if you Bloodlust this fight, then you won't have it for the final boss fight, which I think you do want it on. So I don't know. It's really, I'd love to hear what you guys think about Lust timings here. I think you don't Lust this guy. You just have to put up with the fact that it's a really awful fight. It's really annoying. That's just the way it is. You just have to kind of put up with it. Sterile gets jumped on by a shark, unfortunately. Shark bait, hoo-ha-ha. And you just kind of have to deal with the sharks on this fight. So, yeah, this fight is really mostly about the healer being able to bait the sharks around in a circle to keep them away from the tank and the DPS. And it's just a very, very annoying fight. And they end up killing it, which is fine. Now, we don't have a lot of time left, so we try to go for a big pull here because we're low on time because we've kind of had a lot of needless deaths. And that's okay, but a Thundering Squall ends up going off in the back and right over here, and we end up dying. So that's basically the key right there. But that's okay. We Lust because we know we're not going to have Lust. We're going to get it back in a minute here. We Lust and we blow up these packs. I get a really big chunk of damage out here. With my Wolves, with Lust, I get a DRE proc. It's looking good. We get Thundering this time. I don't know what we just weren't paying attention. So a lot of little things, guys. And remember, it's just almost always these keys are going to boil down to the little things. You know, forgetting to kick something, pulling aggro on a Crusher too early. Little things like that you need to make sure you're paying attention to. Kick Thunderous Squall. Like, these are all kind of basic things. But sometimes when you're in the middle of it, it can be easy to lose track of what's going on. And therefore, you end up making little mistakes, and it'll cost you the entire key. So That's kind of what this key boiled down to, and the reason why we didn't time it. But our damage is still very relevant. Don't worry about that. This damage is really, really good, and I am excited about the Storm build moving forward into the next couple of patches. Again, I'm not using the Primordial Stones anymore. We're just double ringed because I want the crit and I want the haste and I want the mastery. It's all really relevant for us. But our damage on the Enhancement Shaman is very strong. And just because we made a couple of little mistakes in this dungeon, that's why we're not timing it. It's not that we're not timing it because of our damage. We're just not timing it because we made mistakes as a group. That's okay. Stuff to learn from. It's just the way it goes. Here's the final boss. This is Harlan Sweet.
Yeah.
Our damage starts out fine here. Could be a little better. There, we get a proc on DRE, which is really good. Big damage. I'm trying to proc it until I get my Doom Winds window right here, which I do with Wolves.
He's running to the group.
And we feared the mob, but he got feared, and he just started running towards the group, which was really funny. So, Doom Winds. Lots of damage. We'll have Sundering in a minute for our Chain Lightnings. Rich was frustrated at this point by his deaths, but honestly, now that I'm looking back at the VOD, I probably died just as many times as Rich did. So if he's watching this, he should know that it's okay. We all made mistakes in this dungeon. It was not just because of him. The rest of us made lots of mistakes, especially me. Like, I made plenty of mistakes here. So here's the Harlan Sweetie fight. We'll just move forward to the second phase where he starts getting loaded dice. Once he gets to 60% HP, he ends up doing a lot more damage. He does extra whirling daggers. This part right here is very dangerous, where you have a whirling dagger stuck in you and you're being chased by fire. It's a lot of residual damage going on. I think Asterio probably raptured this part, which was really awesome.
He's coming to you. I can't get him.
But this part is very dangerous for sure. Here comes the next set of sabers. I'm trying to call it sabers for the group just to be a little bit helpful, because I know Asterio's like really busy. They were fearing the mob, and Asterio's healing. So any way I can help, I will help, because I'm not really on ad duty here, because there's really nothing that I can do about it. We get Rich up. We need him for his damage. I think something happens to Rich here. There's the sabers. And then we're good. Everything's got to heal myself just to keep myself a little bit alive here. And we don't have Lust. I have my potion back, though. I forget when I pop it. Hopefully I pop it soon here. Here's Sabers plus. We're running away, so you have to be really careful with your positioning. This fight's all about positioning, really. Here comes Daggers again. I'm healing myself just to help Asterio out, because he's got, I can help the healer by healing myself. I heal Rich there. I might as well, right? Because if those guys stay alive, then we're going to kill the boss. That's all that matters. Here's Sabers again. So I'm not doing as much damage because I've spent some of my Maelstrom weapon stacks on healing people, but that's okay because it means that everybody stays alive. That's the most important thing here, and everybody can do damage. So help out your team if you're an Enhancement Shaman. The only way that you can really help, you only have one defensive, and it's not that good. So you can just help everybody else by healing them, which is really nice. Pop my defensive here, stay alive, get those extra chain lightnings going. And we end up finishing Harlan. Sabers again. There's the ad. Very bad timing. I'm just going to run away because he's on me. It's good. And then there's lots of damage going out. I'm just going to keep myself alive here. One more heal, and then I run out of the swirly, and then we're good. We're absolutely good. We can finish the boss off right here. So not bad. Again, probably 10 to 12 deaths or so were just needless. They weren't like, they didn't have to happen. Unfortunately, so it's things that we can work on. Oops, I skipped to the end of my stream there. Things that we can work on moving forward. But again, our damage overall on the Freehold was 110k overall. So I'm actually really happy about it. It probably could have been 120k or 115k if I didn't die so many times, right? So little things to work on, little things to pay attention to. I hope you guys can glean some of the lessons right here. Once you get to these higher keys, everything basically is one-shotting you, and you need to be very, very careful about your positioning. Be very careful about your aggro as an Enhancement Shaman. Your Chain Lightning will hit really hard, especially after Sundering. It's going to hit really, really, really hard. I had a couple Chain Lightnings hit for 43k. So pay attention to your Chain Lightnings. Be very careful about when you're pressing them, and make sure the tank has aggro. That's one of the biggest ways that you will die as an Enhancement Shaman, is if you kind of jump into the fight a little bit early, okay? I hope that helps some of you guys. I wanted just two things in this video that I want to stress. I want to help you if you're having deaths in your keys. Pay attention to some of the things I talked about in this video. The second thing is the damage on the Storm build is really good. It's really good. If you're wondering about playing the Storm build, you want to get into it, definitely give it a look, guys. It's very, very good. The damage is relevant. This is the tree that I was running. I was not running with Lava Lash plus Molten Assault. I was running with Ice Strike, Swirling Maelstrom instead. I think it's a little bit better on tyrannical weeks, okay? So there you go. Take that with a grain of salt. These are the this is the build that you want to run. It does a lot of damage, and these are some of the mistakes you want to avoid, okay? So, yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I love you all. I will see you in the next one.